yo, there's mad stuff that creatives go through that only we can understand.
Literally. And as a couple and being a creative couple, there's things that we both do that drive each other insane, that make absolutely no sense to each other as creatives. But let's get into it. Let's see if y'all can also relate to these things and if they apply to your creative routines.
Yeah, because it might get a little hectic.
What's up, guys? It's BB.
And it's Just, and welcome back to a new episode after so many long days, hours, weeks, months.
Holidays.
Y'all know how I get,
everything.
man. But we here and we back, and we really gonna show up for y'all as much as we can moving forward. So just stay tuned, subscribe, so you can stay up to date with everything that we've been doing, because we have a lot of exciting projects and a lot of fun content for y'all coming up soon.
All right, guys. Topic number one. As creatives, we know overworking ourselves when we need rest. Like, that is the ultimate downfall of so many creatives. We struggle with burnout when we're not resting, but we have the mindset of thinking that if I just work a little harder, work faster, pile on more, I'll get more recognition, more engagement, more people looking at me, or just, I don't know, whatever thoughts as creatives that we feel like we need to overwork ourselves and burn ourselves out. It's very prominent, and it's very prominent for the both of us.
Right. Who's more likely to overwork themselves, though?
One thing about me is I don't play about rest. We may overwork ourselves in different ways, though. For me personally, I overwork myself in my personal life when it comes to like cleaning. So, for example, if I'm like trying to do a project, I will sometimes.
She will literally.
Cleaning.
It will be 3 a.m. It will be 3 a.m. and I'm trying to relax and watch a Netflix movie. I'm reading a book. I'm trying to record some music. I'm just trying to wind down. And I just hear a whole bunch of jumbling and like plastic sounds in the background. I hear something falling on the floor. I turn around and I see her just going through a bag at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, organizing and cleaning.
Why do you do that?
I don't know. I just have to have everything nice and neat and organized. That way when I start my new day, I wake up like, I can breathe, I can think, I can move forward. I mean, aside from organization, he likes to keep working on a project until the damn sun comes up. Now, I'm a creative and I do the same, but he will work till 8 a.m. sometimes. I like to stop at 5, okay? Night owls, we know that 5 is the time, the cutoff time. He'll keep going.
But when you have that energy, though, yeah, I know y'all can relate. Like when you got that creative juice flowing, and you got like your armpits start sweating, your hands start getting clammy. You know, you got that. Your heart start racing. You like, damn, yo, I gotta act on this idea now. Cause if I let it pass, if I let that, you seen it happen. Like, I let the idea pass, and then I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Or I feel like, you know what? They say that you have 3 days to act on an idea, and then it gets passed on to somebody else in the world. So we be scrolling or we be outside and we see something. We like, yo, we that thought of that. We didn't even act on it. So I don't like that feeling. It makes me sick to my stomach. So
understandable.
But I am learning to get a lot more rest. I try to get at least 7 to like 8 or 9 hours of sleep. But when I feel creative and I have a lot of good things going on, I just jump up out my sleep in the morning and I start just working on stuff, or I start creating a goals list, right? She knows I'm not organized.
Yes, he's very on top of creating a plan for each of his goals, his creative goals. He wastes no time to start a project. That is one thing that inspires me about him, because I will be in my head about something for Lord knows how long, and then for him, he just jumps right into it. So we balance each other out.
And she inspires me, honestly, when it comes to rest, right? Because oftentimes I'll be working on something and she'll just tell me like, babe, just come to bed, just rest. Yes. Like, why don't you just try again tomorrow? Just add on to the project tomorrow. And, you know, a lot of times I don't want to let her be in bed alone. So I'll just come to bed and like stop the project. But then when I wake up and I have a new perspective, it will allow me to...
Yeah, you feel rejuvenated.
I feel rejuvenated, and I feel like I can attack my project from a different angle too. So it's good to take a break and step away. And she teaches me that.
Yes.
She balances me out a lot, for sure.
Number 2, overthinking simple things when creating.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
Ooh, okay, so as most creatives, we are overthinkers over here. We are deep thinkers, I like to say.
Yeah, deep thinkers is a big
deep thinkers, because we want things to play out so well, and we have a strategic plan on how we want to execute things, and we think of all the ways that something might not work and how it will work. But that can literally paralyze you and make you, like it can make you feel like you can never start and you can never finish anything because you're just like you're in your head. You can't do anything if you're stuck in your head.
And if you're someone who overthinks, honestly, I like to write my ideas down. It's always good to just jot them down real quick because we might think that storing it in our mind is simple and it's nothing. But when you go out into the real world or you go to work, that idea could just disappear or your emotions can change and then you might not have the same perspective about it. So I like to write things down and honestly just act on the idea. Even if it's not perfect, there's a lot of ideas I have with pants that I'll start and I didn't even finish them. They just sitting in my closet or I just ended up turning it into a new project. There's a lot of moments we had where we've done that. So just act on your ideas, write them down. And if you have somebody that you can confide in, also share those ideas with them too.
And on top of that, a lot of the time, the ideas that we think are so complex in our mind, they end up being really easy sometimes.
We be making stuff difficult as creators, honestly.
No, literally. I don't know if we like it. Like, we just like the
chaos.
The chaos and the extraness of trying to figure something out, or if it's just embedded in us. But there are literally problems that, like, I am thinking about creatively, or he's thinking about creatively, that when we write it out or we just do it, we're like, oh,
yeah, it's not that
even that serious.
And then when it's too easy, I'm like, nah, something is missing or something's not right.
Yes.
So be mindful of that as well too.
If it feels too easy, that's not a bad thing.
It's not.
Okay? If it feels too easy, I like to say that is God, that's the universe letting you feel at ease, letting you find joy in it and just be free about it.
Yeah, moving with grace.
Yes.
Topic number 3. Piles of incomplete projects that you swear you're going to finish someday.
Oh my gosh. I'm the queen of that. It's so bad. It's not even a flex. Like, that's so bad.
That's bad, bro. That's bad work, so I'm not going to lie.
It's because I'm sure some of you guys can relate. Y'all know when you get so excited and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to start this project, and you do all this extraness around it. Again, overthinking or preparing so much for it, and then you start it and then you're like, I'm tired.
Yo, BB.
Or this is not hitting the way I thought it was gonna hit.
Yo, BB's the type of person where, like, she would tell me, Justin, I need to do this project. I need to do this makeup look. Or she has mad videos sitting on the laptop, by the way. So I'll tell her, like, yo, why don't you work on that YouTube episode that you had from like 3 months ago? And she's like, yeah, it's just too much for me right now. Or I'm gonna get back to it soon. I'm gonna do it next week or tomorrow. Another 5 months will pass, and she got like 17 YouTube videos sitting on and she feels like she has to make more. And I'm like, yo, finish the projects that you started. You know what I'm saying? Because then you can like build up to something else. But I mean, it's practice, so it's not always a bad thing. It's not always a bad thing, but
it's not.
There's a lot. You never know, that one video or that one thing that you're holding back on could change your life, though. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I'll try to remind her of that. Sometimes I'll do that too.
Yes.
There's moments where I'm like, yo, I just don't really feel like doing this project no more. I don't really care.
Yeah.
I like to move on to stuff, but that's why I like to work fast. And
so you don't lose the momentum.
Yeah, you got like a certain momentum. So.
Knock it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anything, he's really good at finishing his projects. In FIT, when we would start doing stuff together, well, more so when you were sewing on your own, did you feel like you had incomplete projects? Because I'm not gonna lie to you, in FIT, I also struggled with completing projects. It was so bad.
But that's how it always is at first when you're starting off the craft. Like, I just always, you're just experimenting. So there's just certain things you're just trying to do just so you can learn it. But I think as creatives, sometimes we take what we do so serious that a practice project will feel like a whole big project that we're going to put out into the world, and it does not have to be that. So
too much pressure.
Too
much pressure will also make you feel like you want to stop.
Right.
So key is just have fun when you're creating, and I feel like that'll make it a lot more easeful in terms of completing your project.
Yeah.
I find that whenever I put too much pressure on myself, the joy of it gets knocked right out, and then I feel that I don't feel like doing this anymore. Next topic. I'm sorry for y'all that are close to us. We love y'all. But as fashion designers, everyone thinks that we are tailors and that we work at the laundromat and they just expect us to fix all their clothes or be their personal designer.
I'm not no damn factory. Like, there was times where family or my mom will come in and just drop like 4 turtlenecks and pants and be like, yo, I need this hemmed. Can you do this for me? Listen, it's all love. Like, I don't mind doing it.
We do it
all the time. Don't get me wrong. But like, when we working on your own project, And then you look at a pile of a turtleneck or like a pair of socks or something.
Or jeans that you gotta hem.
Like, I'm like, bro, I am not thinking about this right now. And it's always, you know what? Family gets a pass. You feel me? They always get a pass. But when it's
they
like,
will always get
when
it.
I meet people on the outside and they're like, hey, oh, you're a fashion designer? Oh, I actually had a pair of pants or a jacket that needs to be taken in. I was wondering if you could do it for me. And they be trying to do it for free.
Like, what are we? Go to the laundromat.
Bro.
Go over there.
And they're going to tax them like $70 just to hem some pants.
That's
sometimes.
probably why they're asking us. Because they're trying to get that cheap. And it's like, no, we cost too. Because labor, when you learn a craft, especially fashion design, you give props to so many people who do the labor work when it comes to it. So even the tailor at the laundromats or like the dry cleaners, they work hard.
Yeah, and it took them years to learn those skills as well too. It wasn't just overnight.
It's some of them that they will do it so clean and so fast that you'll look at it and be like, oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
But in the beginning stages, when you're doing it by yourself, it's not easy and it's not a fast process. And just in general, it's time consuming. It's really an art form. Like tailoring is very different from fashion design. So we are not tailorers.
Yeah.
We don't fix things.
People eyes be lighting up when they be finding out we a designer.
Yeah.
like bro, I don't want to make your birthday dress, yo. I'm sorry. Like I just don't. Like I personally don't like custom work. Not because I don't care, but it's just that if I'm not passionate about a specific project, I don't like to lead people on and just say yes just for the money.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of people ask us to do things for money. If we weren't passionate about it, it's just not gonna work.
I've definitely learned from that.
Yeah. Next topic. One of the most frustrating things as a creative is when you're working on a project and some minor inconvenience comes up. When I'm editing my TikTok videos, or when I'm editing a video and like the file crashes or like my phone dies and I'm not gonna lie, I be wanting to crash out.
Yeah, just throw my whole self away.
Yo.
Just throw myself out. That's the worst. And it'll always happen when you're right at the very end. Like for example, if we're like sewing something, the machine will start tweaking at the last thing you gotta finish, the hem. The machine starts busting and making all type of noise.
Burping and farting and all that.
And now you can't finish and you're just staring at a. This is also why, going back to that other one, this is why projects don't get done for me sometimes, because that will happen. Something will stop working and I'm like, you know what? I'm done.
I feel you.
I'm finished.
But that's the thing though. I've been in so many situations like that in my life. And I realized that on the other side of that tension or that friction was a breakthrough. And sometimes you might think that it doesn't matter, but like I had to continue and post that video or finish a pair of pants and then I'll wear it outside and meet somebody the next day. I mean, I could have met somebody else another day, but just, having that urgency and that desire to finish the project and follow through with it, just like they say, follow through with baseball, like when you're hitting the ball, follow through all the time. You want to just make sure that you stay connected to that and don't always allow outside factors to cut you off from that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
minor inconveniences happen for a reason sometimes.
And sometimes the tension happens because we need to take a break and we need to eat or you need to step away from something. But a lot of times that's just what comes with creating or building something. There's always going to be some type of obstacle you have to overcome, and that's what allows you to become great.
Yeah. Literally one thing I will say, in fashion school, I learned, our professor would even tell us, the second you start messing up on a bunch of things is when you need to pack it up. They'll get a point where your brain becomes too overstimulated and you're messing up on the dumbest things. You can't sew straight, or you sewed a sleeve on backwards, or you just sewed something on the wrong part. That's when you just close it. Close your work up and go rest. Your brain is overstimulated.
That's a great point.
Next topic is why us creatives are such night owls. Now, if you're a creative, I'm sure you can relate to this. It is the quietest hour of the day to work in the middle of the night. For me personally, I love the nighttime from 12 to 5. It's quiet, nobody can distract me. My brain is at peace. You hear the crickets outside. It's just, the world is silent.
They say that like around 3 something is like God's time, where like he speaks to you most.
And that has definitely been prevalent when I've worked on projects. Like,
Not for sure.
I'm in a flow state
Not for
around
real.
that time.
And I'll be in bed too. I'm not even actually creating something, but I'm just thinking about stuff, or I'm just watching a video or watching a movie, and some spark will just come to me, and I will feel compelled to write it down or act on it too. And honestly, most of the work that you've seen me make, whether if it's design or music, I always make the best work at night.
At those
I make the best
times.
music
Yep.
at night.
Oh yeah, this guy, he will literally make music from sun up to sundown, and then the night, darkest hours of the night. Like, he'll keep going. When he's in his music world, he's in it.
Because I just feel like even when you're tired, your soul is just speaking for you. Like, I'm not, when it's nighttime and it's silent, I don't have to think about the stimulation of cars honking, people calling my phone, people, like, just noise outside in general, or just anything. And when I'm in silence, I just feel like it's just me in a hyperbolic time chamber, like in Dragon Ball Z. It's just me and whatever I'm doing. And the more
Right.
connected that we feel to our work, I just feel like that's when we create the best stuff.
Yeah. And it's really easy during the day to get distracted. As we know, social media or
Work.
family, work,
Stress,
there's
bills.
a lot. Yeah, there's a lot that you're thinking about in the waking hours versus once the world goes quiet and you can find that Zen state, it's everything. I've always been a night owl since I was
Same.
young. Like, I'm talking young, like kindergarten, like young. Like, I was up.
It's funny because my mom told me, she always tells me the story when I was a kid, when I was a baby, I would be sleeping during the day and crying at night. And then once I was able to start talking more, she'd have me in the back seat when we were driving from like Jersey or something. And then she said that by the time she'd get to Brooklyn, she'd look in the back seat to wake me up, and I would just be staring at her. And she's
Wide
like,
awake.
"What are you doing up?" And it's like midnight, and I was just 2, 3 years old. But I always just like being visually stimulated. I like just observing things and learning things, and I don't know. I've always been like that since I was a kid, and I think that's the reason why I feel so creative, because I embrace and just admire so much around me.
Well, let us know in the comments below. Are you a night owl?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
are you team night owl?
Yeah, we team night owl
'Cause-
over here. Next topic. Just because we're creatives does not mean we sit around and just play all day.
Yeah, that's a huge one. There's so much that goes into being a creative, as much of you creatives know. And if you're not, the workload that it comes with it's literally like you're doing everything by yourself. So you're doing the artwork, whatever you're into,
Right.
but then you're also becoming a business person. You have to market yourself.
Right.
Then you have to
PR.
create your website. So you have to know a little bit about imagery and more marketing. What else goes into it? There's a
PR,
bunch.
PR, creative direction,
Financial aspects.
budgeting.
Yeah.
Like whenever we have to do stuff for a collection, like I have to figure out how much I have to budget. I have to create cost sheets. And then also when I'm working with, like, let's say stylists or people in the industry who want to use my work, I have to make sure that I'm on top of my garment. I have to make sure I'm communicating with those people.
Yes, the traveling that comes with
Traveling,
it, the supply cost of how much fabric costs, or any medium that we're using.
Even bringing an
It's a lot.
idea to life, like just having a concept. You have a fabric and you bought it. You spent, like, let's say the fabric is like $12 a yard, and you needed 3 or 4 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like, my math is good. That's $48. Like,
That's expensive.
$48 on some fabric, and then you could have used that for groceries. Inflation is crazy right now living out here.
Is.
So there's a lot of sacrifices that we have to make, and y'all gotta respect that. And honestly, some people will get it and some people won't. And it's not our job to feel like we have to explain that to people all the time, right?
We don't. We definitely don't. If somebody thinks that you being a creative is just all play and nothing serious, because I know we come from a certain background or even like generation where like we're looking at certain older people in our families who are like, no, that's not a real thing. Like, you can't make money off of that, or like, that's not gonna last you. And there's a lot of those thoughts that are put into our brain, and there comes a lot with it. So it is just as important as any other work. If you feel called to do this as your life path and your work and your passion, do it. And be proud of it, and don't let anybody make you feel like just because you're an artist or a creative that your work is nothing and it's not like a real job or anything like that, because it is. There's a lot that goes into it, and we definitely know that.
And we know that, and honestly, we were able to connect with each other when we first met because we just had this perspective about the world when it came to creativity, and it's not easy to find people who think the same as you. And being able to have a partner who is able to sit with me and create with me, you know what I'm saying? And like, I had to do that real quick. I'm sorry. I be showing her mad affection or whatever, but like, it just means so much to me that you're able to sit with me and encourage me, and even when I feel down, you're always there to remind me that like my ideas matter and that we could really make something of this, yo. And
always.
And I want y'all to remember that we support y'all dreams too.
Yes. Sometimes, you do gotta put on your big girl or big boy pants and do what you gotta do. But again, don't let anyone ever make you feel like being a creative is not a real job and we're just, we're playing all day and it doesn't do anything. And I want to hear if anybody has gone through the same thing where they feel like, they've been rejected or they just didn't feel like anyone around them was taking their dreams seriously. This is a safe space, so feel free to share your stories with us because we are always supporting you and we want y'all to rise up.
And we want to see you win. We want to see you do good. We want to see you act on your ideas because they matter.
Yes, and there's enough for everybody. There's enough abundance and success for everyone. Next topic, not everything you do has to be done the proper way or the right way that society deems. So what I mean by that is there's a lot of times when you might do something like make a certain art piece or a pair of pants or I don't know, a song, anything that you do creatively and somebody's like, that's not the right way to do it. Like it's supposed to be formatted like this and you should have it like that. If you're in an art school, you know that you probably have some professors who are very poignant about how it should be done properly. And I like to go against that because we are...
we be going against the grain all the time.
We are very rebellious. That's one thing about us that when we first were with each other, we realized that we had very similar traits in rebelling against what
we were told
authority would tell us to do.
And you could easily get imposter syndrome too. Like there was times where I questioned like, damn, maybe I shouldn't do it like this, especially when you're the only one doing it. But when you start getting those ideas to like go left, honestly, you're gonna be at the forefront of a big change. Like somebody like Tyler the Creator, yo. I want to give props to Tyler the Creator, yo. He just said in a podcast interview that when he first started learning how to read music or like when he started learning how to play the piano or whatever, I think he said that he didn't have a structure or an idea of how to actually read the music. He said he just printed out the music and told himself he was going to do it. He never had any proper training about it. Look where he's at today. And a lot of people tried to ridicule him for what he was doing early on in his career, especially when he was a child. So for me, I could relate to that and you could relate to that. I've seen 100%. Her do so many things DIY for pattern making that she taught me or like bringing an idea to life.
And let me tell you, my experience in school, I had a lot of professors telling me that, oh, you're not good and you shouldn't be here and XYZ because you're not doing it the way I would do it or the way I think you should do it. And look at where we're at today. Like, look at the beautiful art we've created and the opportunities we've gained because we stepped outside of that and we didn't listen to that. So if you feel like you want to paint a certain way or sing a certain way that nobody understands quite yet, that's okay because you will be at the forefront. Like he said, you will be the newest thing in that. Then people will be inspired by you later. They'll be following the trend and hopping on the bandwagon later, and that's okay.
And people gravitate to the work where people feel the most connected to that art, to that specific art form. So I just be making pants because that's just my favorite thing to make. And when I first started learning how to sew clothes, I was just taking random pieces together and just kind of like putting them on top of each other because I didn't really understand the traditional structure of how to pattern make properly or how to add details. So I started just doing it my own way and I'm able to knock out multiple pairs of pants in a shorter amount of time than most people. Because I just have my own routine. It might not be the traditional way, and teachers will tell me I'm wrong, but I'm where I'm at.
But it works.
Yeah, it works. It works for me. It might not work for you either, and there's something that you might do that could work for you, and it might not work for us.
Literally. So, next topic, sacrificing social time for our creative work.
Ooh.
This one's a hard one because a lot of people on the outside, again, creatives, you know what's up, When you have a vision to complete something or to do something, or you feel compelled to just pour all your energy into that, and then someone invites you out, or someone invites you out, or they're like, let's go out to dinner tonight, or let's go to the club, or let's blah, blah, blah. And you're like, wait, no, like, I really want to finish this. Like, my heart and my soul is coming out right now, and I'm in my flow state. And then they're like, no, let's do this. Or you have a parent who's like, oh, you need to do this right now because I said so. It's like, no.
Yeah. Listen.
I hate it.
Listen, Belina knows I'm the type of person, I don't care if 50,000 people stand in front of me telling me that I should go somewhere. If I don't want to go, I am not going.
Oh, he is the king of saying no.
Because honestly,
he's so good at it.
The feeling that I have when I go somewhere that I know I didn't really want to go, and then I have to suffer with the consequence of it, it's literally like you about to fight yourself in a boxing ring. You get knocked out. You feel me? Because I'm like, I knew that this is something I didn't want to do because I wanted to focus on my craft and my vision. Mm-hmm. And honestly, by the time you come back from those things, sometimes you don't feel as creative like we said before. You might lose it, or something else comes up and you got to attend to something else, especially as an adult.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Like, I'm willing to sacrifice those moments to just pour into myself because they make a big difference for me.
They do. And in the long run, I like to think that sometimes those are tests. Like, I feel like sometimes you'll get tested by God or the universe, and they'll be like, okay, let me see how serious this person is. If they say yes to going out when they just vowed to themselves earlier in the day that they wanted to be serious about their craft, let me see. Let me test it. Let me see if they're really going to stand on it. And if you get sucked in, then you know that's something that you definitely have to work on for yourself. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes you're being tested. And once you pass that test, you're always going to be blessed with some type of success or some type of abundance.
Or insight.
Insight, or even just like props to yourself. Like you should feel good that you followed something.
You followed through with something that you're standing on.
Yes, it will always pay off. But I will say, sometimes too, as creatives, we get so sucked in where we don't feel like we're connected to humanity anymore.
Right. And it's easy to forget that.
Yes.
So I always try to say that, well, she's better at me than this. She'll always say, listen, babe, like, we're allowed to go out and hang out with our friends, or we're allowed to go out and explore in the city and explore a new restaurant, get some dessert. We love getting dessert.
Yes.
We love
we have sweet tooth.
Yeah, we got sweet tooth OD. So it'd be like 3, 4 in the morning, we eating cake and whatever, ice cream.
Yes.
But it's good to have balance, right? Yes. I'm not saying to always say no, and I'm not saying to always go outside, but I like to just make sure that my work is done. It's almost like when our parents used to teach us, in order to play outside, you got to make sure your homework is done.
Do your homework.
This is my work, and I'm like, I'm gonna pop out once it's done. But if it's not done, man, I don't know if I can step outside. Yeah.
I can't come play today.
Yeah, don't ring my doorbell.
I gotta do my homework.
I miss those days.
I know.
I miss when my neighbors and my friends used to come and knock on my door and ask my mom, can Justin play outside? Or they used to call you on the phone. Mm-hmm. We don't have that no more.
We don't.
Damn, I wish we could time travel back to them days.
I miss that.
Yeah.
The good days.
Honestly, this was a fun talk. I know it's very relatable to a lot of y'all, but I just appreciate the fact that y'all was able to sit with us and vibe, because a lot of people don't get it. And for the people who don't understand, at least I hope we were able to give you some insight on how it is in our world.
Yes. And if anybody has more things that, us creatives understand, drop it below. I want to hear some of the things that you guys go through that you feel like no one understands. Again, this is a safe space, so drop it down below in the comments and let us know what else you have to say. And also, if you have any other couple idea videos that you want us to do, drop them down below too, because we love to just build off of the ideas that y'all have too. We want to make sure that we have an open space for us to be able to feed off of each other's ideas too, you feel me? So feel free to do that. And we appreciate the fact that y'all are allowing us to share these ideas with y'all. Like, comment, and subscribe. And we appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching us. And stay tuned for the next design challenge we got coming up, because it's going to get spicy. We're not playing this time. Oh, yeah, we're not playing. It's been a little bit, but we're back. We're back in action. Thanks.